Alright. What's up, people? There's fucking nothing else to do, so figured I'd go for a very light jog and hang out with people. I'm genuinely starved for social interaction. You know, it takes a pandemic to really realize how much you do rely on social interaction to stay sane. I seriously miss just sitting in a group of people, just bullshitting. I used to kind of make fun of that, I'm too good to just sit around and talk. I want to work, I want to do focused, productive shit. Hanging out is for losers. I sometimes used to talk like that or think like that. And then prohibit me from going out into public and talking with people for a couple weeks. And I realized I fucking love just shooting the shit. Also, I walk around the block drinking my coffee mug and shit like that. Or with a cigar in my mouth and a beer can in my hand. So the neighbors already think I'm probably the local wacko. So I really have no problem being seen with an idiotic selfie stick or whatever, talking into my phone while I'm jogging. Fine by me. So at one point, I'm gonna show you the fucking amazing mountains in New Mexico. Any advice on equivalent to undergrad education outside of institutions? Find a good group of people who are intelligent and passionate and disciplined, and organize reading groups, but also research and writing accountability groups. And it's amazing the types of results you can get from that. Definitely. Of course, it all depends on what you want, right? If what you want is some sort of institutionalized job, then you need an undergrad degree, probably, unless you're going to be an entrepreneur. So yeah, if you want to just get some kind of standard institutional job, then you have to go to university, at least at the moment, for the most part. There are some other opportunities, but not too many, unless you're going to do entrepreneurship, in which case there's tons of opportunities. Let's see. But if what you really want is just the education, then it's not hard to get education. Obviously, the information is out there. You can easily find pretty much almost any book you want. You can easily design a curriculum. Hell, you can find syllabi and curricula out there from universities, right? You can even walk onto Harvard University campus or Yale University campus and just walk into an ongoing class. They won't even know you're not enrolled, right? So it's never been easier to get education if what you're talking about is education per se. But of course, that's not what people are really after when they want degrees. Degrees being something very different. All right, so in a minute, you'll be able to see the beautiful Sandia Mountains behind me. Albuquerque is pretty beautiful in that regard. And yeah, I'm starting to get weird looks because I look like a wacko, but it's a pandemic, so there's a little extra tolerance for weirdos and weird ways of passing the time. But yeah, to answer the question that was posed, if what you want is an education, then find a group of people who are also interested in studying what you're studying. And the real key is social accountability. You need to have at least a couple people in the group who are very disciplined and who will keep to a schedule and who will set that schedule and plan it. I mean, in some sense, my organization, indiethinkers.org, the real value added that I provide, it's not so much teaching people, although I do a little bit of that. It's just providing the discipline and structure and showing up to all the sessions on time and kind of extracting that kind of discipline and accountability from other people. So as long as you can get a few people who are disciplined and can kind of create that structure, then it's never been easy. It's never been easier to self-educate. Yeah, helpful peer pressure, as Charles Finch says. Exactly. All right, so in just a minute, look for the mountains behind me. In Albuquerque, the mountain range is called, they're called the Sandias because they turn pink at dusk. Sandias means watermelon in Spanish, and they look like watermelons. You can start to see them soon. See them kind of off in the distance. Yeah, you can see them behind me there. Someone says, why Justin? Why what? Why am I jogging on the live stream? Well, one reason is because I've gotten a little doughy. I've picked up a little bit of extra body fat since the pandemic because I've been eating as my pretty much sole fun thing to do. There's really not much else in my life that gives me any kind of variety or pleasure other than eating. So I've been eating. I kind of got less rigorous with myself on the diet front since the pandemic went into effect, and pretty sure I gained some, not a lot, but a notable amount, like noticeable amount of body fat. So I figured, as I'm starting to get stir crazy and really in need of kind of social interaction with people other than my wife and my roommates, and hey, how you doing? No, just my iPhone. And yeah, since I realized I was starting to kind of gain a little bit of weight, not looking too hot, I figured I could solve, or I could, kill two birds with one stone by going for runs and turning it into a social hangout also. Thanks for the super chat here from, who do we have here? It's Gruzy. Whenever I want to go running, what does it say? Whenever I want to go running, I just inflate my two giant leg penises, quickly balance on them, and then start teetering forward until I'm going 60 miles per hour. Damn, Gruzy, thank you for that fucking amazing lifestyle advice. I think you need to write an ebook and do a whole online course with this revolutionary workout method. That is powerful. Revolutionary, I dare say. So thank you, Gruzy. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Man, if I can make $5 every time I go for a jog, that'd be dope. So shout out to Gruzy. Let's see what else we got. Charles says, tried to go to a public library, great books group once, but it was all rambly boomers. Yes, exactly. Rambly boomers. That is a problem. No disrespect to my elderly citizens, but yeah, you don't want to be in a conversation group with a bunch of boomers at the library. No disrespect. Look, honestly, I don't even plug my own shit. I didn't get on here to do that, but since you guys are asking for how to self-educate effectively, I would genuinely encourage you to request an invitation at indiethinkers.org, because that's literally what it's all about. It's pretty much a bunch of structures, features designed to support independent intellectual work for anyone working outside of institutions. So yeah, request an invitation if you want. It's honestly like a legit way to support and, I would say, multiply the results of any kind of self-education program. Let's see, Curtis Powell says, I had to talk with a bunch of boomers while I was hanging out with my grandparents back in January, and some were pretty cool, interesting. That is true. That is true. There are cool boomers for sure. Quid says, where is this? I'm in Albuquerque. That's where I live. It's honestly pretty dope. Honestly, it's pretty beautiful, especially this time of day. Curtis Powell in the chat, by the way, is a member of indiethinkers.org. Shout out to Curtis. I only just launched it a few months ago, but it's growing steadily. And over the next month, over the next 2 months, 3 months, and more, It looks like it's on track to have a really full group of serious, dedicated, creative intellectuals. So I'm pumped about that. Charles says, indie thinker sounds cool, but he's broke. Is there anything to do about that? Well, one thing is I do offer some scholarships for students who are, or just people who are in financial hardship. So I can hook you up with a scholarship if you need, but that still costs a little bit. Yeah, so we'll see. I have played around here and there with a free membership tier. We'll see if I expand that or not. I'm not sure yet. I met some people in the park the other day. I just walked up to there was this group of young, like, millennials sitting in the park. I was like, hey, you mind if I hang out with you guys? And they were like, yeah, sure. They're pretty cool, actually. They're kind of hippies, but that's all right. I think tonight I might hit up Uber Eats. I never fucked with those food delivery apps until the pandemic, but now I've been doing it every weekend. Let's see. August says, can't seem to make myself care about maintaining contacts. Would rather just burn all bridges. Thoughts on this? Well, August, it's not good to burn bridges. There's rarely any need to literally burn the bridge. Now, if you need to say something that other people don't want you to say and it's going to lose you friendships or relationships, then it's almost always the right thing to say it, I think. So if that's what you mean by burning bridges, let the chips fall where they may. But often people think that they have to go out of their way to, create some kind of conflict or create some kind of rupture. Like they have some kind of yearning inside of them to just kind of like give up on people or something like that. And I wouldn't recommend that. It's when you quote unquote burn bridges, if you have that mentality, you can easily kind of develop this latent, subconscious kind of mentality where you feel like there's a bunch of people out there who are out to get you, or they're your enemies or something like that. I'm just stopping to catch my breath so I can give thoughtful advice. But yeah, you're right. I should keep it up. I'll keep it up. Oh, by the way, real quick, hang on. I'm going to return to that question, but I want to show you the view of the mountain real quick. Here, I'll just show you in a sec. Check that shit out. Isn't that dope? Those are the sandias. Yeah, so in response to the question that was asked before about having an urge to burn bridges, yeah, there's rarely any need to burn bridges. You can just let bygones be bygones. It's often the right thing to do to let someone be and perhaps stop interacting with them, stop reaching out to them if you feel like that's the right thing to do. There's nothing wrong with that. But I wouldn't call that burning bridge, call that, going your separate way. And what I think is crucial, honestly, is that if you decide to go your separate ways from someone, you need to, I don't want to sound corny or anything, but you need to keep love in your heart. You really can't allow yourself to have any type of bitterness or anger towards anyone, no matter what. You really can't. That might sound kind of woo-woo, but I really believe that. And so if there are people in your life that they're just not good for you to have in your life for any reason, and it's best for you to just mentally decide that you're going to kind of put them behind you altogether. That's not necessarily bad, but do it in a loving way. Tell yourself, you wish them the best. Maybe one day you'll meet again. If there's something you don't like about them, trust in your heart that it's for some reason you don't fully understand. That's probably not their fault. And just try to have kind of sympathetic, loving attitude, even when you decide to put people behind you for good. I do think that that's important. So burning bridges was the question that someone asked me. They feel like they need it to burn bridges. Should they do that or not? And what I said was, real quick, to recap and summarize, If you need to say something that you believe in, and that's going to lose you friends, and that's what you mean by burn bridges, fine. Let the chips fall where they may. But if you just want to kind of put someone behind you, there's nothing wrong with that if that's the right thing to do. But do it in a loving and open-hearted way. Imagine maybe in 6 years, they call you on the phone and maybe they'll want to rekindle a friendship. Just allow for that mentally. Kind of hope for that. Not expect that, because it probably won't happen. But say goodbye to them in your mind with a kind of loving, sympathetic heart, and try to, you want that kind of loving attitude to be the last thing that you remember about them, because that's what will stick with you, because they will pop back into your head, you know. You will think of them here and there, and you want it to be with warmth and not with bitterness. Bitterness and resentment are pretty much the number one killers, I think. All right, gang, I think my battery's dying. So I'm gonna wrap this baby up. Thanks for hanging out. I'm gonna finish my jog. Thanks for the super chats. I hope you're all hanging in there. Good to spend some time with you all. Later.